Hello and welcome to episode 2 of a new and upcoming show on KNWT called I Am. My name is Hayden Ali and I'm the producer and the host for this upcoming show. And this week we have Adrienne Isakovich. So hi, how you doing today, Adrienne?
Great, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, thank you for agreeing to be on the show. Really looking forward to our conversation. So
Me as well.
yeah, okay, let's just go ahead and just start off and just give us a little bit of background and why you're here today.
Well, it's funny, everybody asks me where I'm from because I'm a new Bearcat, and I always say it's complicated because even though I'm originally from the South, I spent the last 2 decades of my life overseas. And so it's hard to say where I'm from per se, but part of me is still overseas in the UAE, I guess, in my mind, because it became home after being there for so long. But now I am happy to be a Bearcat and to be settling here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think Maryville is a great place. There's a lot of fun things that go on here, and there's a great community, close-knit community here in Maryville.
And it's
so.
very welcoming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead and tell us, what were you doing overseas? Where exactly were you?
So I was mainly in the Middle East. I started living overseas in Saudi Arabia, and I was there for a couple of years, and then I moved to the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE, and I was there a little over 16 years. And I did spend some time in China as well. I was both an academic, professor of management, as I am here, but also working in HR roles, mainly for startup organizations and organizations that were doing reorgs, as we call it, building new internal departments that they hadn't had before. So that was kind of my forte, and I kind of switched back and forth between being an academic and then going out into the corporate environment.
Awesome. So
yeah.
You got kind of 2 different worlds there while you were there. Then.
Yeah, kind of a dual career path, if you will.
Yeah. Awesome.
Kept me from getting bored.
Yeah. Sure, kind of kept you on your toes.
Yeah.
So earlier in the week, you sent me some pictures of you traveling through your time there. You just want to tell me and share some experiences or maybe what you learned with your time traveling?
Yeah, I've been able to go to over 30 countries now because of the proximity of the UAE to so many other locations. And I think my biggest takeaway is that despite all the really cool differences and comparisons that we make among different cultures and different people, we're all trying to basically do the same thing. We're all trying to lead a life of happiness and provide for our kids and have stability. And, as large and fascinating as our world is, we really all are just human. And I really encourage everybody to travel as much as possible to really understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great lesson to learn. I personally love traveling as well.
Yeah?
And so, yeah, I love just experiencing different cultures and just seeing what's out there. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm not done yet,
so.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So here in the Midwest, I think we probably have some assumptions about the Middle East. Can you just kind of go through and talk about your experience over there?
Yeah, I shared those same assumptions before I went there. As an undergrad, my focus was international affairs, focusing on China and Korea, and I had no intentions of ever going to the Middle East. But when I got there, I realized that, assumptions that I held that, women are very sheltered and don't get to really participate in life, and that, society's very closed, kind of the things we see in the media and in Hollywood and things. I found really wasn't true. So, for example, in the UAE, it's a young country, it's 48 years old, and they've been a phenomenal economic growth, but only 10% of their population is local. So they've had to import a lot of labor, which means that over 200 nationalities work and live together in the UAE. And when I say live and work together, I mean genuinely do so in harmony. For example, historical tensions, say, between Indians and Pakistanis. Indians and Pakistanis work and play and live together, quite harmoniously in the UAE. And what was very cool is because everyone kind of comes from somewhere else, they want you to try out their culture and to get to know it from the inside. So there's, invitations to, try, my dress or my food or how I worship or anything else. And that includes the women too. Women are not sheltered. For example, in the UAE, they make up about half of parliament, of the elected officials in parliament. One of my students was the first commercial pilot in the UAE. Women are very active in the workforce in terms of how women dress. I had students that would completely cover. I had students that, wore clothes more risque than I wear. So it was quite an experience, and I learned so much about myself as a woman and being myself as an American and as being a global citizen. And it's amazing how alike we are as human beings, even in our differences. That was a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for taking the time today. I think I learned a lot just more about the world and how different cultures interact. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. So hey, thanks for watching the second episode of I Am, and you guys have a good day.